All right, I think we are live. Let's wait a moment to see if we are actually live or if it's going to reset on me at 25 to 30 seconds like it likes to do. A little sip of water. Chill for a moment, figure it out. I'll know as soon as people start rolling in. It doesn't allow people in until it actually officially starts. When it gives me the first timer and pretends like it's a fake start. All right. What do we got here? There we go. All right, we are live. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would sit down and do a live chat for you guys and gals. I'm going to cover a little topic, and then we will jump into your questions. But a quick reminder, if you would, click the like button, click the subscribe button. Also, if you guys would go down underneath and go to my Facebook page, which is linked down below, and follow me there, it would be greatly appreciated. So if you guys will follow me, I put all my same fitness content up there. Please engage it. So again, for those who chime in, hop over there, please. All right, let's get some likes going. I'm not going to address any comments till we get to a significant number of likes here. All right, so the brief topic I want to cover first, and I'm going to harp on this a lot because I get so many of these zealots, because I promote eating vegetables, right? Because I promote people eating carbohydrates and vegetables, my comments tend to get overrun by the carnivore and keto zealots. They're like militant. Their religion requires them to attack anyone who says that rice is good. So, it happens. So again, I make videos calling them out because basically they're insane cultists. But yeah, pretty much their religion demands that they do so, apparently. Like it's one of the religious tenets of being a carnivore or a low carber. You have to attack people who promote science. All right. And so, and again, I think they go to like hell where they're not allowed to have butter or something as a punishment from the carnivore raptor god. So I'm pretty sure it's in their Bible. All right. Because it is clearly a religion. So one of the things that they do, they only argue against veganism. They don't ever argue against the successful approaches. Like when you look historically, everybody knows how do bodybuilders and jacked athletes tend to eat. Like, oh, they eat chicken and rice. Like my whole life, as soon as you hear someone's a bodybuilder, what's the first thing that pops in your head? I bet that guy eats a lot of chicken and rice, especially if he's ripped and jacked at the same time. Everybody knows this. That's a textbook bodybuilder type diet, most successful thing. And I'm not saying it has to be exactly chicken or rice. That's a stereotype. But the idea, clean eating, lots of starchy carbs, lots of lean protein, and then vegetables and stuff, right? That is usually what you think of as a bodybuilder type diet. And by and large, that is the most successful time-proven eating approach for decades for getting a lean and jacked. And that's without us going into the health stuff, because again, these diets fall apart real fast when they go under the microscope. But if we're just going to talk anecdote, they've got a problem, and that's why they have to bring up veganism over. Well, vegans. And so it's like if you promote eating rice, you're automatically a vegan. Just like to a lot of religious extremists, like if you say anything different than what they say, you must worship Satan, okay, because that's the only other possibility. So it's the same thing in their religion. So they assume that you're a vegan, you're not a carnivore, and they can't acknowledge the fact that most successful people with great body composition and jacked physiques tend to eat bro diets, which are going to be semi-plant-based with a lot of lean animal proteins usually thrown in, but they're still overall mostly plant calories. And they're going to tend to eat whole foods and clean, and they tend to be lower fat. And this has always historically worked. It's time proven. Again, and that's without even jumping into research. We just all know, we observe it. We see people get absolutely shredded for, the past 40 years doing this while staying jacked. Like it's well known. So they can't acknowledge the existence of that, because if they do, they've got a problem. They have to only bring up something that they can possibly outdo, which would possibly be a poorly done vegan diet. right? Because veganism does require quite a bit of care to the protein side to really maximize body composition, particularly muscle on it. It's not that easy to do. And that's one reason I don't necessarily promote it. For health purposes, I have no issue with going almost entirely plant-based. I don't see an issue there. When we're trying to maximize jactitude, I'm going to make the case for some animal proteins, right? For obvious reasons. But again, these groups, they love to ignore that. They won't ever want to acknowledge, oh man, people who eat chicken and rice, they're going to be bigger and leaner than we are. So we just have to pretend they don't exist and we'll just keep going after veganism. And it's funny how they do that, right? But again, it's like I say, you have to be intellectually honest, dishonest, and borderline insane to follow such an approach. All right, so let's hop over and let's look at some of these comments. Actually, I'm not, because you guys didn't click the like. There's more questions than there are likes. I'm just going to drink my water until we get some engagements here. Actually, I tell you what, guys, I'm going to leave the room and I'm going to come back. And if there's not any likes, I'm just going to shut the live stream off. Fuck it. There we go. That got a couple. All right. At least a number of likes equal to the people asking questions. Let's hop to some of these questions. Conor McGregor, obviously the real Conor McGregor. Been watching you since high school. I'm 21 now. Ice Cream Fitness got me through my novices. Glad to hear it, brother. Peep the Creep. Do you really got to get a different name? All right, is it okay to run Ice Cream Fitness 1.0 as an upper lower? No, probably not. I mean, it's such a low volume anyways. Nah, I wouldn't bother. I might write like a upper lower or some late novice push pull legs or something eventually. We call it Ice Cream Fitness 3.0. Right? 3.0. Praveet Singh says, why are you calling him AD? Like, why would you insult the man by going back to the really stupid goofball, ridiculous ass name that he made up that was not as good as his real legal name? I'm going to check right now, and I'm going to see if this is even a real channel anymore. Hold on. Let me see if he even exists or if it's Alexander Leonidas before I decide if I'm going to ban you or not. No, there is no such channel as Alpha Destiny anymore because it was a stupid incel sounding name. And I told him back in the day he needed to get rid of it and use his real legal name because his legal name was actually legitimately badass. And you got to step back and ask that question, though, from a marketing perspective. When your dad gives you a name at birth that is like God tier, my son is going to be a total badass if I give him this name and then you refuse to use it. Anyone who's ever must have given you marketing advice, you guys see what I'm saying? Damn. But back over to the point. I am glad that he actually uses his real name because that seems like such a waste to be given such a legitimately cool legal name and to change your business name to something like butt fucking retarded like Alpha Destiny that just screams, I have never seen a vagina in my life. Instead, it could have been, I'm Alexander Leonidas. Hail to the king, baby. That's what I would have been like if I had that name. Like, bow down to the king. Look at my name, bitches. Say my name. That's what I would have been like had I had a name like that. All right, Apu says, 16 sets better than 12 per muscle per week for muscle growth? No. Why would you necessarily think it is? All right. Jordan Jefferson says tips to be better with women. I'm going to charge you per tip. So I'm not answering that. This is not a relationship advice channel. I give you deadlift tips. But let's come over to Conor McGregor, who left a donation, which I appreciate, brother. I'm going to give you a love back. And he said, gotta leave. Here's some support. You're very underrated. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Connor. Jason Rios, do you ever eat kombucha squash? Tastes like a mix of pumpkin and sweet potatoes with like 35 calories per 100 ultimate cutting hack. It's liquid calories. How's that a cutting hack? 35 is more than 0. Also, Jason Rios, I know what country you are from because you called a liquid drink that you would ingest a squash. Had I spent my entire life in America and never left the country, I would have no clue what in the holy hell you were talking about. Like no American has ever even heard this term. So, I know that you're British. No, kombucha actually has alcohol in it, and to my knowledge, and I do not consume alcohol. So the answer is no. And I would come back over to the point of, I thought it was kombucha. So what is this? Kombucha. All right, I'm going to go with no anyways. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. But because it's a liquid that you drink and it's not protein, it's not a protein shake with 35 calories, I'm going to say no, I probably wouldn't consume that when cutting. I mean, if it's a protein source, I get it, you know. But why would you drink a liquid possible sugary calories on a cut? Like, I can tell you've never been fat. All right. Pete Decrease, you're saying Ice Cream Fitness 1.0 is low volume when you say lower Ice Cream Fitness. I mean, I meant 2.0, sorry. For some reason, I was thinking the 2.0 Pete Decrease. I apologize for that. I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would actually change it to an upper lower. I mean, in theory, you could, but here's the thing. Peep Decrete, I'm going to make a very, very simple point. If you have enough knowledge and experience to adjust any program that a coach has written, to make a single change to it, you were probably too advanced or too much experience to ever run a novice program. Let me state that again. Anyone who has enough experience and knowledge to change any part of a program that an experienced coach has already written has too much experience under a barbell to ever run a novice program. Do you see the conflict here? And if you've got enough knowledge and experience, you're like, well, I'm doing it for someone else, I'm writing it for someone else. Well, if you've got enough knowledge to write a program for someone else, why are you taking an existing program and adjusting and just write your own program? Very straightforward. All right, back to your next question. Is it better to consume black lentils instead of other legumes? I heard that black legumes have more antioxidants. Not necessarily. They're all good. And again, they're all really high in antioxidants. Keeping in mind, if you want the most out of it, eating a variety of these plant foods is best because of possible synergies between different antioxidants. Future legend, should we be bulking to heavier weight each time we bulk? I mean, are we really going to use a true bulking and cutting approach? Or are you just following a general upward trend in lean gains? And I mean, if you're an advanced lifter doing bulks and cuts and you're going, well, I think I can pull off about 2 pounds of muscle a year. I mean, how much heavier do you really need to be at the end of each bulk? Just something to think about. Guy says, my back is bigger, 700 deadlift. Says, looking lean, Jason, what's the end point for your cut look like? I don't know that I have a true end point. I know that I do need to continue to be leaner than where I am now. I am not going to get like contest lean, like bodybuilder contest lean, because it's not sustainable. I don't want to cut to a body fat that's too lean for me to maintain. But I definitely need to get leaner than I am now. And I feel like when I get there, I will know. If that makes sense. I have a look in my mind of about where I think I need to be, but I don't know how many pounds on the scale that is, and I don't know how many weeks that is. I'm just going to continue to work down until I get there and go, okay, we're there. Now let's go back and focus on lean gains. Or I might even focus on lean gains a little bit and then return to cutting a little bit. But the main thing is over time, I do need to get progressively leaner than where I am. I'm definitely better, but I'm not where I need to be yet. And I don't know if it's another 5 pounds, another 8 pounds, whatever. Limitless Will says, finally, I catch a live, coach. Glad you caught one. Future Legend, for instance, last bulk, I hit 192 pounds in the cut. So this bulk I should get. Do you think you're going to gain 8 pounds of muscle in a year? How advanced are you, man? I thought you've been lifting a while. I recall when I looked at your channel before, I thought you were definitely through the intermediate phase, right? You're not a late novice. You're not gaining 8 pounds of muscle in a year unless you know what I mean, bro? All right. And it better be your first time. BF says, I'm 5'9", 200 pounds, getting back into lifting after a 2-year layoff, around 25% body fat. Dude, if you're 5'9", 200 at 25%, you're actually pretty decent amount of muscle already. I'm a week into starting strength. What would you recommend for calories deficit maintenance? You're 25% body fat. I'm going to recommend you do at least a small deficit. Go ahead and trim down a little bit. Get yourself down to a little bit healthier of your body fat. And it doesn't need to be a fast cut. It's a nice slow cut. You'll probably recomposition after a 2-year layoff. Limitless Will says, Coach, I ran 15 kilometers the other day. I'm trying to become a powerlifter marathon runner, but my knee hurt a lot after the run. Do you have advice? You may need to get some consultations on that. Maybe talk to Viata about it. Alex Viata with Complete Human Performance. Also, let's get some likes here, guys. Come on, a bunch of people posting. I'm getting more people posting than I am clicking the likes. Also, if you guys would remember, go hop over, follow me on the Facebook page that's linked underneath every one of my videos in the comments, and engage my fitness content there. I would appreciate it, guys, if we could get on top of that. All right, Pete the Creek says, how do I hire you for a consultation? I just did one last night, actually. I do at least one a week, sometimes more. The consultations, if you message me on either the Facebook I just mentioned underneath or on the Instagram I just mentioned, we set up consultations. We schedule them. You have to pay for it ahead of time. We do a video call and we go through whatever it is that we need to cover for you to get you to your goals. And sometimes they're training only, sometimes they're nutrition only. Sometimes there are people who just need help with their cell tech or whatever. But we cover whatever it is that we need to cover to kind of get you along, and I make sure that you get your hours work. You said, but I'm a novice. I want to change it up to upper lower 4 days a week so I don't have a lot of time to work, and I end up spending a lot of time when I do full body. Okay. So you might need me to map you out a program and a consultation, which I do those pretty frequently. I've probably done that 12, 15 times over the years to where someone just needs me to write them a custom program and talk them through it while they write it down in a consultation. I've done that quite a few times. Jason Rios says, is it possible to bench 275 pounds times 5 at 160, currently benching 245 times 5? It's certainly possible. People have done it. People have done more. Now, is it probable for you? I don't know. I mean, if you've been training a while, to add 30 pounds to your 5-rep max at the same body weight or a lighter body weight could be a lot more time than you think it takes to get there. All right. But yeah, we can discuss all that in the consultation, the other questions. No big deal. Hit me up. We'll figure something out. All right. My back is bigger. Guy says, now that I hit my deadlift goals, I want to cut to a better physique. Hope to reach my goal next summer. Currently 6 foot tall with a 6'7" wingspan. Woo, you got those ape arms. 200 pounds. Yeah, man, go for it, dude. And cut down. Work on the physique. I mean, let's be honest, dude. 700 deadlift at 200 pounds is pretty dang impressive. Like, there's nobody can hate on that, right? Nobody can hate on that. Jordan Jefferson, I'm not going to discuss prawn or the M word. I do not run that sort of channel. Have you considered going to a channel that discusses those things and maybe asking them? Or a website or a psychologist or someone? That would be worth looking into. I don't cover those sort of topics, man. All right. Limitless Will says, our stiff leg Romanian deadlift, what? And lunges enough for legs. Sometimes at the end of lunges, I do 10 reps. Okay, I'm going to try not to cuss. What in the holy fudge is a stiff leg Romanian deadlift? Could you pick one? You're combining two exercises on me and you're confusing me. Are they enough for legs? I always ask, are 2 exercises enough for legs? I don't know. To get some muscle growth? Of course. Is it going to be anywhere near maximal muscle growth? Is it going to fully develop everything? I don't know about that. BF says, thanks, Jason. I thought that might be the right choice as I get back into lifting with muscle memory. Yeah, I think that will do well for you. Are you still someone who believes bulking and cutting works? Honestly, man, I'm gonna be honest. No, I don't think that we need to do the traditional bulks and cuts anymore. My own work with clients has shown me it's not necessary. Current literature and nutrition, sports nutrition, showing it's probably not necessary. The only people it may be necessary for are people who get shredded, like for contests. They're an exception to that rule. Nico says, what are you eating for pre-workout meals? I don't. Lately, I've been training fasted and I feel less lethargic from eating. Oh, I do black coffee before I train. I sometimes don't even eat until 2 hours after my workout. Thoughts on Jeff Nippard saying incline bench is better for physique work over flat? I don't know that I fully agree. How do I put this? I think the flat bench is a better overall chest builder. Do I think incline, though, really, really bleeds a lot for physique and aesthetics? I'm going to go with yes. As far as agreeing outright with him, I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, absolutely, hands down. But I would lean in the direction and say he's probably not far from. There's a degree of truth to that. Is that fair? I think that's a fair way to look at it. Because, man, the flat bench can add potentially more total chest. But the incline still builds the whole chest pretty well. And it really does bring up that upper part. It really does. Apu, you ask that stuff a lot. Apu, just set up a consultation at this point, brother. You know what I mean? Because you ask a lot of the same questions in here and I try to answer. I feel like at this point, because you kind of ask the same questions and all the lives, and I kind of give you some tips here and there. Since you're not paying for it, I don't think you're going to take it on board. It's one of those where people disregard free advice, and you kind of do ask the same stuff a lot. Just throwing it out there. and it seems like your mindset is not correct. So until you fix your mindset, which probably is going to require talking to someone, giving you one-on-one work a little bit, even if it's for an hour, you're probably not going to make gains because there's something, your mindset is way off. Right? Jordan says, thanks for doing these lives. You're welcome, man. And P.S., can you fully replace the press with the incline? It depends on what you're trying to do. If we're talking just upper chest and front delt hypertrophy, I absolutely. Do I think the incline's a better overall mass builder? Absolutely. Are there certain aspects of the shoulder and maybe some good performance carryover from the press? Yeah. I kind of like to do a little bit of both these days, to be honest. But if you were to ask me which one do I think is an overall better just mass builder, I'm going to go with the incline. How do I put this? I really like, now that I've been doing more physique training and have been working on my physique quite a bit, I really like the incline bench. I feel like it brings a lot to the table. You know, nice, heavy, solid, full range of motion incline benches with a pause on the chest. It just, how else would I put it? It just gives such a unique stretch in the pecs, especially for me at least. It's just this whole area, all the way like where that split is. It lights it up just in a different way that I don't get from other exercises. And that's the best way to describe it from an anecdote perspective. We could argue about research. I've become very fond of the incline bench as an exercise. And incidentally, what I've noticed, every client I've ever had who we got to at least a double body weight bench, we did a lot of incline and they were all really good at it. Limitless says, you ever thought about witnessing Indonesia? Not really, no. All right. Future Legend said, if your strength is stalled in the gym, could not gaining body weight be a reason as to why? Are you 8% body fat? Maybe. If you're not, I don't know if that's the reason. Maybe you just need to be patient and gain more muscle over time. Just worth doing. Chris Alvarez says, hey, Jason, whatever happened to that Cocoa Plus you used to have? I think I know where it is. I think it's in one of my closets. But I think I actually still have it. I don't know if I tossed it out or not. And it's not something I want to put on camera again. And here's the reason. I used that kind of to clown Jerry Ward back in the day, but the man is dead. And look, I'm not saying I'm a perfect person or a bastion of morality by any means, but man, I've got my limits. You know, there's limits of good taste. And I'm at a point I'm not comfortable mocking a dead person. You know, there's just lines you don't cross. It's just kind of, all right. Let's get rid of this. It's weird. That was just a weirdo thing. He's got to go. All right. Of Mecra says, arch my back on the bench is uncomfortable for me, so I've gotten used to just having my back flat for bench presses. It's fine. I bench flat back these days. If you look at my bench footage, I did that easy 325 this week. That was just a flat back, dude. Flat back and a pause. That's how I bench these days. All right. Marco, currently 18-ish % body fat. If I lose around 5 kilograms, can I maintain all strength and muscle since weight? Well, 5 kilos when you're at a healthy body weight is a lot. If you're at a healthy body fat, 18% is not unhealthy. 5 kilos is a lot. If you do it fast, you're going to lose muscle and strength, actually. If you do it slow, you'll probably be okay. Hey, Pooh, yeah, go ahead, man. Get a check. Let's get a consultation going. We'll sort down and sort your mindset issues. My back is bigger. Says, do you currently still do deadlift during your physique phase because you enjoy it so much, or is it? Do you want a bullshit answer? Or do you want an honest answer? When you're dealing with people on YouTube who put out information and content, the number of bullshit answers that people give is really high. So I'm just going to give you the honest answer. Scratch my nose first. You guys ready? I just love the deadlift. I'm very biased towards it. And so even when it comes to research and evidence on the deadlift, I am so biased that I'm just going to think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread anyways. It would take monumental amounts of research to convince me the deadlift isn't amazing. So here's what it really comes down to. I just love the deadlift, dude. It is a mindset thing for me that even for me, if data showed it might hurt my gains 1% to deadlift, I would still possibly consider sacrificing that 1% just to do the king of all badass lifts. Yeah, how's that for an answer? Because the conventional deadlift makes my dick hard, baby. All right. Speaking of the next question, Blaha, do you think physique training is more fun than powerlifting? Do you think the opposite? Do you think of marathon running? Marathon running is the most boring thing you could ever do. My God, I don't want to distance run again. I think the bro split type training is actually more fun, but only because of squats. Dude, heavy squats are not fun. Nobody likes heavy squats unless you're weak. Strong people don't like heavy squats. Squats are fun when you squat 300 something pounds. When you start getting strong, they're not fun. I don't even like arching on benching, but I kind of enjoy the flat back benching. It's actually kind of fun. But deadlifts, I love my deadlifts. But you take maybe the benching and the deadlifts away, physique training is overall just more fun. It just really is. It's more enjoyable. Especially just split training, mainly because you're not repeating the same lifts once a week. Everything feels kind of fresh. Jordan says, you keep on winning and all the haters mad AF. Keep it going, my boy. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. And just going to keep winning. Just keep winning, dude. Keep moving forward. That's all any of us can do. And I mean, I've had my losses. I've had my stumbles. But here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. You get knocked down 5 times, get up 6. That's it, man. Just keep getting back up. Sometimes we take steps back. You take 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. But as long as you keep coming out ahead, just keep pushing forward, guys. That's it. You just don't give up on everything in life. Every aspect of life. Oh, did I not have my mic close enough? Is that better? Someone said it sounded muted. Is that a little bit better? Hold on. Are we good? Do I need to turn anything up? Somebody said it was really quiet. Endoplex says, hey, Jason, a cup of whole milk has 35% of its calorie saturated fat. Think the food should be outlawed? No, I don't know that. Whole milk, probably not, because it's the most benign out of the saturated fats. And people say, well, then what's wrong with butter? Because butter is not whole milk. They don't show the same thing on the research. Because butter is a highly refined food. And it's nothing like what milk is. But no, whole milk it shouldn't necessarily be outlawed. Again, if you're going to pick an actual saturated fat, it's probably about the most benign one you're going to get, to be honest. But, I'm not saying it's risk-free. At the end of the day, we should all be limiting saturated fat to some extent. Jordan, I don't know that there are benefits to L-citrulline. I've never seen anything lasting showing any sort of benefits from supplementing it chronically. Future says, what do you think of conjugate training still good for getting jacked? I think it can be. I still think it's great for performance and strength, maximizing strength. But as far as getting jacked, I mean, here's the thing. Why not just do specificity for everything? I mean, and that's the thing that I've started looking at more and more. The longer I've coached, I just think less and less of, hey, let's do this and we'll get some beneficial side effects. Why don't we just simply train for what we want to achieve efficiently? In other words, if you want really big biceps, I don't know, maybe do a lot of incline curls to right, really focus on building your biceps instead of going, rows may grow them less, but it'll build your lats and it'll build your grip. And if you do enough of them, the side effect, your biceps still might get pretty decent. You kind of see the issue. And I'm not saying that's the case with conjugate. You can get pretty damn jacked on conjugate. But do you kind of see the point of that mindset? Be like, yeah, you could do all that. Just like you could go become a professional gymnast and get really good biceps eventually. Spending 20 hours a week on the rings and all those pull-ups, or you could just come do curls for 30 minutes a week instead and just get the biceps. Just saying. There's a point where we do need to step back and say, what are our goals? And I'm not saying we shouldn't all be big and strong. And that's the other thing of train for each thing specifically. So, I mean, a perfect example, I do most of my training is hypertrophy because I do want to be jacked right now. I'm working on my physique. But I do care about strength. It's just a much further importance down the chain at the moment. So what I do, I come and say, well, let's do some heavy singles. Because if you want to get strong for the work you put in, what's going to increase your strength potential the most? Doing triples, doing fives, or doing one heavy rep? Well, the research says the one heavy rep. So why wouldn't you, on the sets you want to maximize strength, let's do heavy singles. And if you want to really get jacked, then spend most of your gym time focused on just getting jacked and building the muscles that you want to build. Thoughts on training with DOMs, Zipple, hitting arms a couple days before hitting heavy presses, pulling days. You need to question why you're getting that much DOMs. DOMs itself may not limit performance in a direct manner because DOMs is not always indicative of a muscle recovery issue. But there could be something going on to ask why you're getting DOMs that are lasting too long. Maybe some adjustments need to be had. Do you think the 315 bench is the hardest to achieve out of your three strength standards? For the average person, yes, but if you're built to bench, it would actually be the easiest. Deadlift is actually great for spinal erectors, which does a lot of back thickness. Yeah, that's true. How much did you weigh when you used to do marathons? During the time I was distance running, I was at different weights. The lightest I got down to was 170 before I started really lifting. But you're asking me a question, too, that I don't know the answer to. Because, again, let's talk about running and time and memory and getting old. I'll have to go somewhere with this. What year is it, Felix? 2024. How much did you weigh on New Year's of 2000? How much did you weigh in the summer of 2000? Just give me an estimate, plus or minus 3 pounds. You see the problem with these sort of questions? I got to even figure out what year it was. I haven't run in over 20 years is something that I even thought about wanted to do, let alone stepping back and figuring out. When I did this little half marathon event, was I at 215 or was I down to 175 by that point? I don't know. I know I was under 300. Limitless. Speaking of getting knocked down, I always listen to the Rocky Balboa "Gonna Fly Now" when I run. It's really motivating. You have a song that you like as well when you train. You just put on ZZ Top or AC/DC mixed playlist and just run with it. Whatever I'm in the mood for, usually some sort of bluesy rock. Optional question. I thought you might get a laugh out of this. Greg is still saying Turk is testosterone light. I need to just keep calling that scam artist out there because they're scamming and then they're scamming. Okay. It's one thing to tell a minor fib. It's another thing to blatantly lie and sell a scam product for large amounts of money that you know for an absolute fact is worthless and a scam. Okay. Especially when you already make good money doing other stuff. Limitless says, Jason, should I start grappling or striking martial arts as marathon runner? Thank you. I don't know. Do whatever you want. Hey, Limitless, do you think I should play a Gibson Les Paul or a Fender Strat? This coming month, should I focus more on Texas blues or classic rock with my music? See the issue there? I got to see. That's one of my clients trying to call me, and I did not have a call scheduled. I need to tell him I'm in a thing. Hold on. Sorry, it's going to keep ringing until I do. Oh, no. I don't think he realizes he did that. Well, let me close this out and see what he needs. It might be an emergency.